Hello friends, hope you are fine. Today the podcast is about Rahu in third house. As I have mentioned that Rahu, Ketu both they are planets of general malefic nature. Rahu is also a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything benefit from out of it. One can't expect anything benefit out of it. So there are few cases, exceptional cases under which we can strengthen Rahu when Rahu is weak and when there is Mahadasha or Antardasha of Rahu, but there are certain conditions under which we can activate Rahu using Hazonite gemstone. So it's one of the amazing planets, but not for all the ascendants, and for a few ascendants, if it is under the specific conditions only. Usually these two planets, Rahu and Ketu, they create problems in in the life of natives, and strange problems due to these nodes that have been given an utter importance in Vedic astrology. Now, let us begin with the Aries ascendant. First of all, Mars should be utterly strong in order to face all the challenges in life. However, when Rahu is placed in the third house and Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the third house, it will create problems. There will be issues with the initiatives. Self courage of the person will be challenged. There will be physical growth retardation. There will be issues, there will be problems with respect to marital life if Venus is weak. There is a problem to father, and there will be earning through financial, earning through foul means, isn't it? Earning through foul means will be there, and there will be problems with respect to younger siblings as well. So in case Mercury, Jupiter are also weak in the chart, and Rahu is afflicting in third house, it will lead to asthma like situation. So one won't be able, when Rahu is afflicting in third house, one is not able to take initiatives in life. The courage of the native that gets lessened, and one is unable to do anything with self efforts, because that power recedes to the great extent when Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the third house. When not afflicting, it gives good results. One is it increases initiatives and self efforts of the native and courage of the native, and it increases the materialistic property of younger siblings. So these are the main results in both the situations when Rahu is afflicting in the third house and when Rahu is not afflicting in the third house. So usually when Rahu is not afflicting, Rahu should be strong. In both the cases, Rahu should be strong. Then only we can define the results of Rahu in the third house. Now what can be done, if any favorable aspect comes to Rahu, for example, if Jupiter aspects, not only aspects, I will say it gives favorable aspect to the Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. If Saturn rather gives favorable aspect to Rahu, it will decrease the malefic influence of Rahu in the chart. However, if these are not so, the malefic influence of Rahu will be there, and you can't remove Rahu from third house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology. To subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now, Taurus ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, Rahu is one of the amazing planets, but under certain conditions, as I mentioned that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it like the benefic planets, but under few conditions, there are multiple conditions under which we have to see whether to activate Rahu or not. And Rahu, when gives good results, it gives amazing compatible results to the native by health and by wealth also. But there should be proper conditions in the nature of, given the nature of the chart, then only Hazonite gemstone can be recommended. However, if Rahu is afflicting in third house, it creates problem to younger siblings. There are issues with respect to initiative and decision making power. There are problems in marital life. There are earnings through foul means, and so there are issues with respect to self efforts with respect to courage. Also, it lessens the courage of the native to do activities through self effort. So these are the main problems, these are the main issues that rise. However, if moon is utterly strong, the impact of Rahu, when it's afflicting in third house, that will get reduced to the great extent. So when Rahu is not afflicting, it increases initiative, taking power, increases the courage and decision making power of the native, and it leads to materialistic increase in the materialistic property of younger siblings. So these are the main results of Rahu placed in the third house. Now moon should be utterly strong, Saturn should be utterly strong, and these two planets in especially, and Jupiter should also be strong, although that's malefic, but that will help to lessen the impact of indirectly the impact of Rahu in the chart. So these are the main results that have to be taken into consideration while dealing with Rahu. And Rahu plays amazing puzzle in case of Taurus ascendants, because Taurus ascendants, most of the Taurus natives, they are disturbed by health. Their health remains unstable, but there are proper ways to stabilize their health, isn't it? And other issues they face, they are quite quite strange, the issues they face in life. However, you can't remove you can't remove Rahu from third house. What you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. So that is possible with the proper remedies and consistent remedies for Rahu. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now, Gemini ascendant Rahu, as I said, that is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. Rahu gives good results in Gemini ascendant, but there are certain conditions. It can lead to deadly problems and many strange problems in the nature of the life if it's activated, if Rahu is strengthened, without considering such conditions. So Rahu, when afflicting in the third house, it leads to decrease in the initiative making power. It leads to problems with younger siblings. It leads to retardation in physical growth. There are problems in marital life. One has a tendency to earn through foul means. However, if Sun is strong, if Jupiter is strong, if Mars is utterly strong, if these three planets and also Mercury, if these four planets are utterly strong in the chart, the impact of Rahu felt will be quite low, isn't it? It will be felt quite low. So there will be no issues to such an extent as it will get reduced because of the strength of the said planets. However, if Rahu is not afflicting, it increases the initiatives and decision making power of the native. It increases the courage of the native, and it increases the materialistic property of younger siblings also. So these are the main results of Rahu, but Rahu should be strong. Then and only if Rahu is dead, it's infancy, or either it's in old age, the results won't be enjoyed by the native, isn't it? So these are the main results of Rahu in third house. Now what could be done? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon for the upcoming videos like this. What could be done if Rahu afflicts other planets? It becomes a matter of concern, or it afflicts its house of placement, it becomes a matter of concern. So there are proper remedies. The remedies for Rahu have to be consistently followed. It has to become a part of life in such cases when its affliction is close in the chart. So consistent remedies, regular remedies have to be used in order to avoid the malefic influence of Rahu in the third house. Third house is considered one of the amazing houses, isn't it? It's not Marak, it's not Marak house. It's one of the amazing, one of the best houses considered in Vedic astrology. Only 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house, they are malefic houses, and not to such an extent as fear has been created that one faces death, one faces this, one faces that. No, it's not like that. This nonsense has been introduced in astrology, and people have been misguided to the great extent, where the reality, what happens on the practical ground, that's different, isn't it? So do subscribe the channel in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this, content based on research, content based on the laboratory test astrology, like that, because I am looking and I'm interested in the scientific approach to Vedic astrology. What has been said, that was not researched, that was not gone through research. Most of the facts, they have been generalized. For example, Mars gets debilitated in Cancer sign. It has been generalized by the rishis, by the ancestors, but the most of the things that remain unsolved, most of the puzzles, most of the principles in astrology that remain unsolved. So there's a dire need to change our rhythm, and every time do focus on the content being delivered. Don't see the person. This is Acharya, this is Guruji, this is Gurudev, this. No, these things have vanished now. The world is quite forward. We have not to look at the person, we have to look at the personality, isn't it? Don't look at who says. No, look at what is being said. If your approach is that who is saying, he will say whatever he has to say. He will say something that will kill you, that will destroy your life, if you are going to look at the person. But when you look at the personality, no one can misguide you, isn't it? So focus on the content being delivered, don't focus on the person, isn't it? These are the main points that one has to take into consideration in this era of misguidance and course, isn't it? So Cancer ascendant, so far as Cancer ascendant natives are concerned, these ascendants face a lot of problem from the affliction of Rahu, because Saturn is the most malefic planet. Rahu, as I said, that it creates many problems, to the Cancer ascendant native, because Saturn is the most malefic planet. Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. So in third house, when it is afflicting, it leads to sinful deeds, it leads to lying, it leads to decrease in initiatives and self efforts and courage, it leads to marital problems, it leads to earning through foul means, isn't it? So these are the main problems when Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the third house. When Rahu is not afflicting its placement, when Rahu is not afflicting, it increases the initiatives and courage of the native, and it leads to increase in the materialistic property of younger siblings. So these are the main results. In case Rahu afflicts other planets, there will be problems. That, I will come with that series also. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. I'll be with the relevant podcast on Vedic astrology that is the need of an hour. So these are the main results. Now what you can do, you can't remove, but there are proper remedies. You can't remove the malefic influence of Rahu from you can't remove Rahu from third house, isn't it? But you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the proper remedies. However, if Mercury is utterly strong, Moon is utterly strong, Saturn is utterly strong, Jupiter is utterly strong, or Jupiter aspects Rahu, or especially when Jupiter aspects Rahu, it will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. So these are the different things. However, if Mercury is utterly strong, Moon is utterly strong, the impact of Rahu, despite its affliction, will be low, isn't it? So these are the main points that have to be taken into consideration. There are no points other than this to be taken in when Rahu is placed in third house in case of Cancer ascendant chart, isn't it? Subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon. Okay, now let us start with the Leo ascendant chart. Leo ascendant, as I've said, that in case of Leo ascendant chart, they have been considered enemies, isn't it? To the great extent, Rahu and Sun, they are enemies, isn't it? Rahu is darkness and Sun is brightness. Rahu is light, and Sun is light and Rahu is darkness. But practically, I have recommended Hezonite to most of the Leo ascendants. The practical approach is quite different. What we say and what is the truth, there is a strange disparity between the two, isn't it? We can recommend, under given conditions, we can recommend Hezonite for Leo ascendant native without any fear, but proper conditions have to be there. As I repeat over and again, there are specific conditions. Under exceptional cases, we can recommend gemstone for Rahu during its Mahadasha or during its Antardasha, but conditions can't be ignored, isn't it? So in case of Leo ascendant chart, if Rahu is afflicting in third house, it leads to sinful deeds, lying, issues with younger siblings, isn't it? There are problems in marital life. There are chances of earning through foul means, and the initiatives, courage and self efforts, they decrease. Of the nature, they decrease. So these are the main results when Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the third house. When Rahu is not afflicting, it increases the initiative, self courage, self efforts. It leads to increase in the courage, and it leads to increase in materialistic property of elder, of younger siblings. So if Venus is utterly strong in the chart, if Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, if Sun is utterly strong in the chart, so native won't feel the problems of Rahu despite its afflictions in the chart, isn't it? So the strengths of the said planets is important. So these are the main results that one has to face as a Leo ascendant from the affliction of Rahu. In case Rahu gives affliction, and Venus is weak and Saturn is weak, Sun is also weak, there will be multiple problems that one has to face out of the affliction of Rahu. So what could be done? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. Now you can't remove Rahu from third house. What you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology. In case Jupiter gives favorable aspect to Rahu, or Saturn gives favorable aspect to Rahu, or any benefic planet, especially Mars and Jupiter, they give favorable aspect to Rahu. Rahu is not afflicting these planets, but Jupiter gives favorable aspect to Rahu, and Mars gives favorable aspect to Rahu. Under such conditions, the impact of Rahu in the chart, that will lessen, isn't it? So these type of things happen in case of few charts, few ascendants. We can't say that these happen in case of all the charts, isn't it? These are exceptions. Now Virgo ascendant chart, so one of the natives that remains disturbed out the life, rather most of the Virgos, they remain disturbed by health and by other problems also, but quite clear at heart, having a innocent based personality, having a childish personality. They're quite pure in heart, quite full of humor, and quite intelligent usually, but they face enemies usually. Most of the natives, they feel jealousy from their friends and from their people surrounding them, isn't it? So far as Virgos are concerned. Now Rahu gives amazing results in case of Virgo ascendant, but there are conditions, as I said, in case of each ascendant. Under specific conditions, it can give results. So recommending Hazonite is a tricky job. There are multiple conditions under which we have to recommend Hazonite in case of this in case of Virgo ascendant. So third house is one of the benefic houses, isn't it? One of the amazing houses. 11th house is one of the amazing houses. Second house is one of the amazing houses. These are all benefic houses. As being misguided that these are Marak houses, that's completely wrong, completely nonsense. The practical approach, Vedic astrology, has to be there, isn't it? The practical approach is something different. These houses are benefic, completely benefic houses. Only 6th house, 8th house and 12th house, they are malefic houses, and there are degrees to what extent they are malefic, isn't it? The fear that has been created with respect to 6th house, 8th house and 12th house, that is rubbish, that is unbearable. It's not to such an extent. For example, I am going through Mahadasha of Mahadasha of Sun, and Sun is placed in the 8th house. What I am facing? Nothing. My life is quite clear. My life is normal, isn't it? There are many natives whom I have given consultation to. The Mahadasha of 8th house, or the Mahadasha of that planet that is placed in the 8th house, they are under the Mahadasha of a planet placed in 8th house. What is happening? Nothing. Their life is calm. Under few conditions, few people, they face problems, but there are remedies. We give gem therapy and the issue becomes normal. Why to create such fear? Why to create such fear? What is the need? Need is that let the fear be created, and let they be looted, isn't it? Let they be looted, as I have seen that how people are being misguided and how they are looted. Such a massive amount is being spent, and they are made to spend such amount, and that's all in absurd. A native which who only needs one gemstone, who only needs one gemstone, he is recommended 4 gemstones. Why? If Mercury is utterly strong, why to the Mercury emerald? if Saturn is utterly strong, why to recommend Neelam? Why? If Moon is utterly strong, why to recommend Pearl? Why? So such nonsense is being practiced. One is unable to bear. I, as an astrologer, I'm unable to bear such things, because I have seen practically what astrologers do, what nonsense they do. So that's why Dhruv Rathi has said that it's a fraud industry. He has evidences for this, and he has used such evidences in the video. So practical approach to Vedic astrology, that has to be there. That is the need of an hour, isn't it? Now, Rahu, when afflicting its house of placement in the third house, it leads to, when it's afflicting, it leads to sinful deeds, it leads to lying. There are problems with younger siblings. One is unable to have initiatives and courage in life. There are problems in marital life. There are problems of earnings through foul means, especially when Moon is utterly weak in the chart. However, if Jupiter aspects Rahu, it lessens the impact of Rahu to the great extent. So when Rahu is not afflicting, it's strong, and it's not afflicting in third house, it increases the initiatives and courage of the native, and it gives materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results. As I have said that Rahu gives amazing results in Gemini. Is this Rahu gives amazing results in Virgo ascendant, and in case of Virgo ascendant, Rahu becomes debilitated. And as I have said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. Now when malefic planets gets debilitated, it creates mess. So in case of Virgos, if Rahu is afflicting in third house, and either Rahu is weak, isn't it, and Mahadasha of Rahu comes, or Mahadasha of Rahu sets in, or Antardasha of Rahu sets in, there will be face problems with respect to the native will face vomiting, and the native will face lazy when Rahu is weak, and in the third house it is debilitated. Although if it's strong, it will still be a problem for the Virgos, because it is debilitated in either case. If by degrees it's strong, it's still debilitated. So debilitated Rahu for Virgo ascendant natives in the third house, it is a problem. How to deal it? We have to see the other conditions in the chart, and accordingly we have to sort out this problem. But Rahu occupies an important place in case of Virgo ascendant natives, a most important place in the case of this ascendant. So it will be a problem, being debilitated. In either case, it will be a problem. So we have to deal. Now, what should be done? Either we have to go to gem therapy, but for that we have to see the proper conditions under which it can give benefits, or it may afflict other planets in the chart. It may afflict other houses in the chart. That is a problem. Under such conditions, we can't recommend Hazonite. If it is not so, if it's all the conditions that are necessary for the Hazonite to be recommended, if all conditions are meeting, then smoothly we can recommend gemstone for Rahu. There is no problem at all, isn't it? But it plays an amazing role. This is my practical. For each and every ascendant, I have practical approach to Vedic astrology. So most of the female natives of Virgo ascendant, they have gynecological issues, and most of the natives from Virgo ascendants, they have chronic headaches. They face usually headaches. They face acidity, stomach acidity. They face digestion problems. These are the usual problems that they face. So this is all. This is most of the important. I have spoken much about Virgo ascendant in this podcast. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Libra ascendant chart, if Rahu is placed in third house, as I have said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, but in case of Libra ascendant natives, it gives good results under specific conditions. When Rahu is afflicting, it leads to sinful deeds. It raises problems with respect to younger siblings. It decreases initiatives and courage of the native, and it leads to problems in marital life. One earns through foul means. And if it is not afflicting in third house, it increases initiative, self-courage, self-efforts, and it leads to materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results when Rahu is placed in third house. Now what could be done? Most of the writers say that Rahu gets debilitated in Sagittarius, but I am not of the opinion. My opinion is that if Jupiter is utterly strong, then it will not get debilitated. Here the role of Jupiter will play a role, isn't it? So if Rahu is utterly strong in the chart and Rahu is placed in Sagittarius, it won't get debilitated, isn't it? So however, if Mars is utterly strong, Jupiter is utterly strong, Sun is utterly strong, and the Lagna Lord Venus is utterly strong, under such conditions the native won't feel any problem out of Rahu, isn't it? Because the impact of Rahu will get lessened to the great extent under such conditions. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, and get notified for the upcoming videos. What can be done? You can't remove Rahu from third house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. That's possible with the proper remedies, consistent remedies for Rahu. And this is all about Rahu in third house in case of Libra ascendant. Now let us come to the Scorpio ascendant chart. Capricorn is its place in Capricorn. So as I've said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, and Rahu does not give good results in case of Scorpio ascendant usually, but under certain conditions it gives good results. That conditions have to be fulfilled. As I said, if Rahu is afflicting in third house, it leads to sinful deeds, it leads to lying, it leads to problems with younger siblings. There are decrease in initiative, self efforts, and courage of the native. There are problems in marital life. There are problems that one earns through foul means. So if Rahu is not afflicting in third house, it increases initiatives, courage, and self efforts of the native, and it leads to materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results of Rahu in third house that have to be taken into consideration. Now what can be done in order to avoid the malefic influence of Rahu in the chart? However, here if Saturn is utterly strong, if Mercury is utterly strong, if Jupiter is utterly strong, or if either there is a situation that Jupiter aspects Rahu closely, that will decrease the malefic influence of Rahu in the chart. So these are the different things. Now what can be done in order to reduce the malefic influence of Rahu? Do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. In order to you can't remove Rahu from third house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the consistent and proper remedies for Rahu. So this is what comprises the scope of astrology, and there are proper remedies with the help of gemstones also, where we can lessen the impact of Rahu, and that becomes possible only after the careful analysis of the birth chart. So these are the main points that have to be taken into consideration, isn't it? Sagittarius ascendant chart, Jupiter has to be strong enough in order to lessen the impact of, because Jupiter plays an important role in all the lagnas, especially in Sagittarius ascendant. Jupiter should be utterly strong. In case Jupiter is utterly weak, one won't be able to grow in life. There will be lack of growth, lack of expansion. Everything will be lacking in life. So these are the main points. Primarily, these are main points about Sagittarius ascendant. Quite gentlemen, they are quite humble at heart, and quite religious men, and with the philosophical bent of mind. Sagittarius ascendant natives are. However, we have to discuss the results of Rahu in the third house. As I said, Rahu and Ketu are planets of general malefic nature. Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature as well, and Rahu, when afflicts either its house of placement or other planets in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. If it is afflicting in third house, it leads to sinful deeds, lying, problems to younger siblings, decrease in the initiatives, self-care efforts, and courage of the native. Problem is the marital life. One earns through foul means. So if it is not afflicting, it increases the initiatives, efforts, and courage of the native, and it leads to materialistic gains and materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results. Now such problems, as I said, that it leads to sinful deeds, it leads to decrease in the initiatives, that will be there if Saturn is utterly weak. In case Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, isn't it, Venus is utterly strong in the charts, Jupiter is utterly strong in the chart, under such conditions the impact of Rahu will get lessened automatically, isn't it? Because these planets play an important role in lessening the impact of Rahu. Or other cases, if Jupiter aspects Rahu, that will again lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart. Now, can we recommend gemstone for Rahu? So that's a matter of analysis. We have to go through a proper analysis. The conditions that are important for the Rahu to be recommended have to be met. After that, we can recommend gemstone for Rahu. So these are the main points that have to be taken into consideration while dealing with Rahu in third house in case of Sagittarius ascendant chart. Now, what can be done if Sagittarius ascendant lagna rises in a Rahu nakshatra and Rahu on the other hand gives affliction in the chart? That becomes a matter of concern, isn't it? So what to be done? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. You can't remove Rahu from third house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the proper remedies for Rahu, constant remedies for Rahu, isn't it? Third house is one of the benefic houses. Second house, I will be there with the separate podcast on the malefic houses, third house, second house, and 11th house especially, and also malefic houses. There will be a separate podcast on that. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, not get notified for the upcoming videos. Capricorn ascendant chart. In Capricorn ascendant, so it also gives good results. Rahu gives good results, but under specific conditions we can recommend Hazonite to this ascendant also. However, as I said, the Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it like that. Now, if Rahu is afflicting in third house, it leads to sinful deeds, lying, problems to younger siblings, and decrease in the initiatives, self efforts, courage of the native. Problems in the marital life. One has a tendency to earn through foul means. However, if Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, Moon is utterly strong in the chart, under such conditions the impact of Rahu will get lessened. So in case Rahu is not afflicting, it increases initiatives of the native, courage and self efforts of the native. It leads to materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results of Rahu in third house in case of Capricorn ascendant chart. Now, what can be done in order to avoid the malefic influence of Rahu? Firstly, do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. There will be a series of podcasts coming. So you can't remove Rahu from third house, but the malefic influence of Rahu can be lessened with the proper and consistent remedies for Rahu in the form of charities and other means, isn't it? So there are proper remedies. In gemstones also reduce the malefic influence of Rahu in the chart. So it is possible with the proper analysis of the chart, because the nature of every chart is different. So these are the main points about Rahu in third house in case of Capricorn ascendant chart. Now, Aquarius ascendant, as being Aquarius ascendant, if Saturn is strong, Aquarians are amazing people. Usually their mentality is different, completely different. A match of their mentality, a match of their aptitude in studies also. Most of the if Saturn is utterly strong, most of the Aquarians, they are interested in occult sciences. They are interested in engineering also, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, and they are interested about mining, such things that are underground, that are beneath the earth, the chemicals beneath the earth, and also they are interested in the space sciences as well. So however, people fail to understand them because of few reasons. However, this podcast about Rahu in third house, I'm not going to discuss Aquarius as a general in general. Now, Rahu, as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. When Saturn is weak in the chart and Rahu is strong and it's afflicting, it will be a problem. As I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it like other planets. Now, if it is afflicting, it leads to sinful deeds, it leads to lying, it leads to problems with respect to younger siblings. There is decrease in initiatives, efforts, and courage of the native. There are problems in marital life, and one has a tendency to earn through foul means. However, if Mars is utterly strong, Sun is utterly strong, Jupiter is utterly strong, Saturn is utterly strong, native won't face any issue out of Rahu, despite its affliction in the chart, isn't it? But the strength of the concerned planets is must. However, if any of the planets is not strong, the significations of the houses aspect that will suffer during its antardasha. Now, if it's not afflicting its house of placement in the third house, it will increase the initiatives of the native, courage of the native. It will lead to materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results that will be there with Rahu in third house in case of Aquarius ascendant chart. Most importantly, Mars should be utterly strong in order to lessen the impact of Rahu. Mars should be utterly strong. Then only the significations of the third house get safeguarded during its antardasha or even during its mahadasha, isn't it? Saturn should also be strong in the chart. In case Jupiter aspects closely Rahu, that will curb the malefic influence of Rahu. So these are the main points. To subscribe the channel, hit the bell and in order to enjoy this amazing content, research based content, concrete to the point, relevant content on Vedic astrology. Keep on enjoying. Now the last session and last ball of this game that is being played to the natives interested in Vedic astrology, having an in-depth interest in Vedic astrology. They are Pisces ascendant, quite gentlemen. They are quite gentlemen, quite humble by personality. However, they also face instabilities. Most of the natives of Pisces ascendant, they face swelling in the body, they face head injuries, they face urine infections also, they face spinal cord issues also. Their spine is weak. So I am not going to discuss the general personality of Pisceans. Not the podcast, the subject matter of this podcast is Rahu in third house, as Saturn is one of the most malefic planets for one of the most malefic planets for Pisceans. It will create mess in case of Pisces ascendant natives. Now, as I said, Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. And when the Rahu is placed in the third house, if it is afflicting, it will lead to sinful deeds. It will lead to lying. It will lead to problems with younger siblings. There will be decrease in initiative, self-efforts, and courage of the native. There will be problems in marital life. There is a chance that a native will earn through foul means. However, if Saturn is, however, if Mars is utterly strong, if Mercury is utterly strong, if Saturn is utterly strong in the chart, apart from Jupiter, and in case Jupiter aspects Rahu, that will lessen the impact of Rahu in the chart, despite its affliction. And the extent of affliction varies. If it's more than usually, when it's more than 50%, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. However, if it's not afflicting, it increases initiatives and courage of the native. It increases materialistic prosperity to younger siblings. So these are the main results that have to be there with that must be taken into consideration while dealing with Rahu in third house in case of Pisces ascendant chart. Now, what to do? You can't remove Rahu from third house. What to do now? Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this and enjoy this content on Vedic astrology. Now Rahu in third house becomes a problem, as I said that now you can't remove Rahu from third house, but you can do the remedies for Rahu, the consistent regular remedies for Rahu in terms of charities and in terms of other things. Although gemstones also, a gemstone therapy in case of Pisces ascendant completely controls Rahu. If Rahu conjunction, if Jupiter Rahu conjunction is there, or Rahu afflicts Jupiter badly, Rahu can be controlled completely, almost by 90%. Rahu can be controlled with gemstone therapy, and there is a proper way to control Rahu. In case of two ascendants, in case of Virgo ascendant and in case of Pisces ascendant, we can control Rahu with the gemstone completely. So this is all about do share these podcasts as much as possible. It will benefit the natives to increase their information, increase their knowledge about astrology. I'll be coming with the more podcasters like that. So bye bye.